So Dr. Harish Chandra was a close associate of Sitaram
Mhm.
Goel, and he had worked with him from 1969 till his passing away in 2003, and also later worked with his son and retired from his company in 2019. He has been a very close associate of SR Goel, and in that sense, we would be very happy to hear him talk about Sitaram Goel. Thank you.
Okay. Sitaram Goel was my maternal uncle. In 1963, he started his business of export of Indian books, and in the year 1969, he shifted his office to Ansai Road, Daryaganj, where I joined him. Ever since, till his passing away in 2003, I was fortunate to be one of his most trusted associate or assistant. Generous and helpful. He was a very simple man by nature and wore khaddar kurta pajamas and slippers. He was very helpful and generous to all. He was very considerate to his staff members and treated them all with love. He was also held in high esteem by all of them. After office hours, I and Golji used to have some leisurely talks over tea in the evening. One evening, I told him about my weakness English, in English both spoken and written, though I was a graduate. He assured me that it was no problem at all and gave me English Dictionary and subscribed to Times of India and Illustrative Weekly of India, and asked me to read them and learn the habit of using the dictionary. He also gave me some novels, particularly Perry Mason, to read. He told me that the best way to learning a language is to start reading it. Since then, reading has become a part of my life. He always helped everybody in the staff in whatever difficulties they had. I remember two typists who worked under him saying that by working under him, they became so well trained that they were immediately selected for senior positions in private and government organizations. He was a perfectionist and there was no scope for any shortcomings with respect to style, spellings, even commas and full stop, etc. in his letters. It was always a treat to read his business communications or long letters to friends or debates with historians and politicians. I enjoyed learning them all. It was a great learning experience working under him for all of us. He knew many leading politicians, senior government officials, and journalists. He never asked them for any help for himself, but he would recommend the case of any of his near and dear ones who really needed some help. Hard work and commitment. Whatever work he undertook, he worked very hard and took great care in understanding the minute details. From 1963 to 1980, he was a businessman, and because of his sheer hard work, his company became one of the leading exporters of Indian publications from India. He started his business without any funds and had only one table in the office of a friend who offered his office services for free until he started earning and was able to pay. In our book trade in 70s, there were only a few exporters of Indian publications. There was a huge demand abroad for Indian books, but no bibliographical service was available to provide reliable data on the availability of books, and no single source who could supply books published from all parts of India. Mr. Goyal was a visionary and understood this problem. He filled this gap. He offered to supply all Indian books and periodicals in English, Hindi, Sanskrit, Tibetan, and other vernacular languages, published from all parts of India at printed rupee price, and also started a monthly newsletter of new publications from India and periodically issued subject-wise catalogs of all available books. Moreover, he ensured supply of all books irrespective of price, be it a pamphlet of rupee 1 or an art book priced at thousands of rupees. Because of this, soon his company became the most reliable source for all major Indological libraries and booksellers across Europe, USA, and Japan, etc. Some Western Indologists, famous one from Belgium, England, and Germany, became his fast friends and were frequent visitors to his office whenever they were in Delhi. He always liked the company of scholars, and they were also highly impressed by his scholarship. Long discussions with them on history and politics were very lively, and he would skillfully counter their views on Hinduism and particularly on Aryan invasion theory, etc. But when they came to know about his and Ram Sarupji's critiques of Islam and Christianity in late 80s, they slowly began to avoid him and finally stopped meeting him. So much for their freedom of speech and freedom of expression. Hard work was his mantra for success. He used to work late in the office and also take office work to home and used to come to his office on most Sundays. He used to say that on Sundays I clear all my pending correspondence. Whatever responsibility he undertook, be it business or otherwise, by sheer hard work and intelligence, he ensured its complete success. As part of our business, we used to receive many Indian journals and periodicals from all parts of India on subjects like history, archaeology, arts, culture, religion, and politics, etc., in English, Hindi, Sanskrit, and other languages. Besides hundreds of new books published from reputed publishers and government organizations. He would have a cursory look at all of them and made notes and photocopied new materials which interested him. He would also purchase archaeological and epigraphical reports and some books for his personal library, which had a big collection of books. Vice of India. His son Pradeep Goyal gradually took over most of his business responsibilities. In 1980, Goyalji shifted his focus from business and started writing in Organizer, which was his main area of interest. He also started a new company, Vice of India, to spread the ideas of Ram Sarupji and started publication of his own pamphlets also, which were published serially in the Organizer. These became very popular. He used to say, I did business to meet my family requirement, and now, after retirement, I want to pay off my Rishi Red. He encouraged other authors and spent long hours reading and editing their manuscripts and prepared their indexes and gave them suggestions. Ram Sarups and his books became very popular in the 80s. At that time, Ayodhya movement was at its peak and scholars like David Frohlich, Konrad Elst, Dr. K.S. Lal, Dr. Harsh Nayan, Abbas Chatterjee, Talagiri ji, Rajaram ji, Subhas Mazumdar, etc. joined him, and Voice of India became a formidable center of intellectual activity. Arun Shourie ji also supported Voice of India and became very close to Ram Sarup ji and Goel ji. Goelji had an encyclopedic memory about historical dates, names, or related matters. RSS chief Sri Sudarshan ji remained in close touch with him and also promoted Voice of India publications. Vishwa Hindu Parishad often invited him and Ram Sarup ji for discussion on the Ayodhya issue. It was his sheer hard work and dedication which made Voice of India of what it is today. General observations. Throughout my long and very close association with him, I never saw him sitting idle or watching TV, etc. He did not take much interest in family matters and left them to his family. I always saw him either reading or writing. On the particular Ramayana and Mahabharata TV serials, he said, though they have served a purpose, but the divine stories have been turned into human dramas. His favorite deity was Sri Krishna of Mahabharata. He was very fond of Mahabharata and read it in original Sanskrit. He considered it as one of the greatest works in the world. He was a very spiritual person and did not believe in performing usual rituals like going to temple or doing puja, etc. But to one of his Sikh friends, he would advise him to visit Gurudwara Sahib whenever he was in some distress. He firmly believed in the Karma Yoga, which according to him was the ultimate worship of the God. He had a lot of friends from his college and Calcutta days, all great scholars, politicians, journalists, and experts in their respective fields. He always welcomed them and felt very happy to meet them. They would have long discussions and gossips on politics and other current issues. He used to be very happy when friends from his college days came to meet him. He would invite all his college friends from Delhi and spend hours in office or go to some restaurant at Connaught Place. I would like to narrate some interesting incidents which are not well known. He used to send some of his books, some of his publications to Khushwant Singh. Khushwant Singh would always acknowledge, saying he will read them when free. In one of his articles, Khushwant Singh wrote that foundation stone of Golden Temple at Amritsar was laid by Mir Baki. Goelji wrote a long letter challenging him to prove it, and informed him that Sikh Guruji laid the foundation stone. Khushwant Singh wrote back, he can't refute the facts given by Mr. Goel and invited six scholars to come forward with more evidence. After a month or so, 2-3 letters were published saying Goel was a BJP man and we need not take him seriously. Khushwant Singh once also wrote that the real author of the first book of Conrad, Ram Janam Bhoomi versus Babri Masjid, was Goel himself, and he had used a pseudonym of a foreigner to make it popular, but later admitted the author was Konrad Elst after meeting him in a flight. Sayyid Sabuddin also had some correspondence with him on Ayodhya issue and would ultimately give up, saying it was no use to argue with Mr. Goel. During the last 3-4 years of his life, he became ill and very weak and stayed at home. He would not meet any visitor and even refused to meet his close college friends. But he asked me to visit him every Tuesday and Friday. He would ask me about Voice of India matters in the office. Inspired by him, I started reading complete Mahabharata in 6 volumes and would discuss with him every Tuesday and Friday what I had read and would seek his views on the issues which I could not understand properly. He would gladly remove my doubts. Besides, we would also discuss other issues like current politics, religion, and many other issues. He had a remarkable memory of all these religious, political, and historical matters. He never consulted any dictionary or anything, everything. He had remarkable memory. He was a rishi in the real sense of the word and dedicated all his life in the service of Hindu society and Sanatan life. In the end, I must say I am blessed one to have got the opportunity to work so closely with such a great man till he passed away on December 3, 2003. Thank you.
Thank you, Harish Chandraji. That was very, very enlightening, and we could understand how Shri S.R. Goel was an astute businessman along with a compassionate human being and a thorough intellectual and a genius.